Peeps, how we doing? Good, I hope. It's been a wonderful day out today. Had a marvellous tab out. Seen a lot of stuff which you'll see on the other videos. And now I'm just getting close to home now, to Mount Sorrel. I thought I'd do one on physical and mental health. So let's begin with the physical side. As you all know, I love to go out tabbing. Yeah. Like today, I've probably done about another 8 miles. Loved every minute of it. I'm out in the fresh air, yeah, and I'm exercising my body. This 65-year-old body that probably needs it, yeah. But it's getting my heart rate going, keeping the pump going, keeping me alive. And a lot of people don't do that. They don't get out. That's the problem. Yeah. Especially those that are working. You've got the pressure of work, I know, but you've got to take out some time for yourself. That's the big thing. Howdy, ladies. Yeah, you've got to take time for yourself. It's work isn't the be all and end all. There's an old saying, yeah, we work to live, not live to work. And I've experienced it with a lot of people while I've been working in Civvy Street, or while I was working in Civvy Street. I've been retired now 2 years, and I get out and I do stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing. When you take up retirement, don't sit around. Find something to do. Now myself, I go out tabbing. I've got my work as the Lollipop Man, Flood Warden. I'm now the Poppy Appeal organiser for the village. Took that on Friday. I'm also the co-chairman for my granddaughter's school's PSFA. Most of you will remember that as the old Parents and Teachers Association. Yeah, but I'm doing stuff that I want to do. That's a big thing. Yeah, it's all stuff that I'm loving every minute of it. So that's the main thing. Yeah, don't sit around and waste your life away. You know, you've worked hard to get to your retirement. Make sure you make the most of your retirement when you get it. But yeah, so working in big corporate companies and everything. The company I worked for was a big global company. Obviously we had an office here in Leicester. But there were times when I looked at it and went, do you know, I've had enough. One of them being 2 years ago. I just realised I'd had enough. And that all stemmed from the mental side. Yeah, everything was a case of push, push, push. Now a good example of that was during COVID, when we were in lockdown and some of us couldn't work from home. Some of our employees with the company I was working with had to work from the office. And myself and my colleague, because we were the IT support, we couldn't always just purely work from home, so we had to go into the office. And one of the incidents that happened during lockdown was someone came into the office, yeah, was talking to one of the other employees that worked alongside and mentioned the fact that his son had tested positive for COVID. So immediately everyone's like saying, well, what are you doing here? So they sent him home and he got tested. And sure enough, when he got tested positive for COVID. Now, it was about a week later, I found out about this. Yeah, not from someone within the company, but from a third-party agency of cleaners that used to come in and clean the office. So I challenged HR and said to them, why weren't we informed that someone had walked into the office that had tested positive for COVID? And their answer was, we can't give out personal medical details. I wasn't after personal medical details. I was after the fact that someone had walked into the office that had tested positive for COVID. So the people that worked in that department, yeah, all challenged their business manager and said, right, well, we want to work from home. Yeah, now they could have done. It's just that during COVID, some people were taking the mick as far as working from home was going on. You know, they weren't doing their work, they were just lazy. That was one of the problems that we had. We had some people that were lazy. And of course, they dragged everyone back into the office. But that business manager, when he had the meeting, turned around to his colleagues and said, what you've got to think about is the shareholder. Hold on a minute. Shareholder? Why have I got to think about the shareholder? I'm worried about the fact that I may end up with COVID, I may end up seriously ill, and I might possibly end up fatal. Yeah, but that's the business manager's attitude. Yeah, worry about the shareholder. This is why I say we work to live, we don't live to work. Yeah. Well, after that incident, that made me look at the company in a far different way. Come on over, my sweet.
I don't like this bridge.
It's a bit wobbly, isn't it?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
It's
a bit slippery, especially in the winter as well.
Well, there isn't any wood under there.
Yeah.
It's just that perched on the edges. Right.
Right, you have a good day. But yeah, it made me look at the company in a very different light. I mean, the company I worked for made a lot of money during COVID. Yeah, due to the fact that two of our biggest customers were Pfizer and AstraZeneca. And we made a lot of money through COVID because obviously we were selling the equipment for them to produce the COVID vaccine. But instead of the company thinking of it as being a one-off, you know, and we made a lot of money, suddenly the sales targets went up. Now I know one of my colleagues that worked there, he'd had a project not to do with COVID, but to do with something else. And that project had been going on for about a year, 18 months. Yeah, and he worked damned hard. Yeah, he was doing overtime and everything because he was very much customer orientated. Well, the following year, his production targets, they wanted to increase it by 50%. Well, hold on, again, this was a project that was a one-off. Yeah, total one-off. Made a lot of money for the company, but they'd probably never see it again. And when I left 2 years ago, I did say to that lad, yeah, if I was you, mate, I'd walk now. Yeah, because there was nothing to do with well-being. You know, they have all these well-being champions and everything in businesses. To be honest, that's just a tick box. It really is. Yeah, because at the end of the day, the big bosses don't care about you. You're the little man on the ground, doing all the work to give them the pay that they receive for being the CEO or whatever. Yeah. So what happens to you, don't matter. So that's why I say, please, when it comes down to your mental health, when you're stressing over something, just take a step away. Take a day away, do whatever. Get away, turn your company mobile phone off. I used to do that on a regular basis. Yeah, turn it off. Do something with your wife, your family, partner, whatever. Yeah, and just ignore what's going on. Because like I say, at the end of the day, the world ain't going to fall apart if you take a couple of days off to get yourself back into a proper mental state of health. Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's more important than anything. Yeah, it's more important than your sales figures. It's more important than looking good with a CEO or anything like that. Yeah, your mental health is more important. And if you can mix your mental health with your physical health, the way that I do, by going out tabbing, going for a little walk, playing the guitar as I play my guitar, you know, just switch off to the rat race of life. Because I see so much nowadays of people where they're stressing so much about their work. Yeah, it's not right. Companies should be putting that sort of stress and pressure on people. Yeah, and like I say, they have these well-being champions that are supposed to take care of you. I'll be honest with you, it don't work. Really don't work. Hello, love. So, like I say, mental and physical health, it's yours. So, take care of it. Right, so I'm just coming back into the village. I'm going to sign off now for the day, except for my final video, which is just going to tell you what mileage I've done today for combat stress. There's the thing, combat stress. Yeah, it's all at the moment more orientated towards the military family, yeah, because of the stress and everything that we've had in combat. But there are groups out there for everyone. So if you're feeling like it's stress, yeah, reach out to someone. So I'm going to sign off for the moment. I will say goodbye properly in my finishing video.